Life is a grand adventure filled with countless moments that shape our destiny. But have you ever stopped to consider the power of silence? In the bustling world we live in, where noise surrounds us at every turn, the ability to remain silent can be your greatest strength. Today, we're going to explore 5 crucial situations where silence isn't just golden, it's absolutely essential. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about being silent? Well, my friends, silence is a tool, a weapon, and a shield all rolled into one. It's the secret ingredient that can elevate you above the chaos, help you make better decisions, and ultimately lead you to success. Let's start with the first situation where silence is your best eye. When you're angry, we've all been there, blood boiling, fists clenched, ready to unleash a torrent of words we might regret later. But here's the truth. Words spoken in anger are like bullets fired from a gun. Once they're out, you can't take them back. They leave scars that time may never fully heal. So what do you do when anger threatens to overwhelm you? You choose silence. Take a deep breath, count to 10, do whatever it takes to keep those harmful words locked away. By remaining silent, you give yourself the gift of time. Time to cool down, time to think, time to respond rather than react. Remember, the strongest person in any argument is not the one who shouts the loudest, but the one who has the self-control to stay calm and collected. Your silence in these heated moments speaks volumes about your character and emotional intelligence. Moving on to our second situation. When you don't have all the facts, in today's world of instant information and social media, there's enormous pressure to have an opinion on everything, to jump into every conversation with both feet. But here's a radical idea. You don't always need to voice your thoughts, especially when you're not fully informed. Silence in these moments is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. It shows that you value accuracy over speed, substance over noise. By staying silent when you lack information, you avoid spreading misinformation and preserve your credibility. You give yourself the opportunity to listen, learn, and form a well-rounded perspective before speaking up. Think about the most respected people in your life. Chances are they're not the ones who have an opinion on everything, but rather those who speak thoughtfully and with authority when they do choose to share their views. Aspire to be like them. Let your silence be a testament to your commitment to truth and understanding. Our third situation where silence is crucial might surprise you. When you're right, yes, you heard that correctly. There are times when being right is not enough, and voicing your correctness can do more harm than good. You're in a heated discussion with a colleague or a loved one. You know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're correct. The temptation to prove your point, to bask in the glow of being right, is almost overwhelming. But ask yourself, what's more important, being right or maintaining a positive relationship? Sometimes silence in these moments can be the ultimate act of kindness and maturity. It shows that you value the person and the relationship more than your own ego. It demonstrates emotional intelligence and the ability to see the bigger picture. This doesn't mean you should always stay silent when you're right. There are certainly times when speaking up is necessary, especially when important decisions are at stake. But choose your battles wisely. Ask yourself if this particular instance of being right is worth potentially damaging a relationship or creating unnecessary conflict. By embracing silence when you're right, you're not giving up your power. You're wielding it with grace and wisdom. You're showing that you're secure enough in your knowledge that you don't need constant validation from others. And in doing so, you often gain more respect than you would by proving your point. Now let's talk about our fourth situation. When you're tempted to make excuses, we all face moments of failure or disappointment. It's part of the human experience, but it's how we respond to these moments that truly defines us. When things go wrong, there's often a knee-jerk reaction to explain, to justify, to make excuses. We want to preserve our image to show that it wasn't really our fault. But here's the hard truth. Excuses, no matter how valid they might seem, rarely improve a situation. More often than not, they make things worse. This is where the power of silence comes into play. When you're tempted to make excuses, pause, take a breath, choose silence instead. In doing so, you demonstrate accountability and strength of character. You show that you're mature enough to accept responsibility for your actions and their consequences. Silence in these moments isn't about accepting blame that isn't yours. It's about focusing on solutions rather than problems. It's about learning from the experience and moving forward rather than dwelling on what went wrong and why. Think about the people you admire most in your personal and professional life. When they face setbacks, Do they launch into a litany of excuses? Or do they accept the situation, learn from it, and focus on what they can do better next time? Emulate their example. Let your silence in the face of failure speak to your resilience and your commitment to growth. And now we come to our fifth and final situation where silence is golden. When you're tempted to gossip, gossip is a peculiar thing. It can feel good in the moment, giving us a false sense of connection or superiority. But in reality, it's a poison that corrodes relationships, destroys trust, and diminishes our own character. When you find yourself in a situation where others are gossiping, or when you're tempted to share some juicy tidbit about someone else, stop. Choose silence. This might mean physically removing yourself from the conversation, or it might mean simply not contributing to the gossip. Your silence in these moments is powerful. It sends a clear message about your values and your integrity. It shows that you respect others' privacy and that you're not willing to partake in behavior that can harm relationships and reputations. Moreover, by choosing silence over gossip, you're protecting your own peace of mind. Gossip has a way of coming back to haunt us, creating anxiety and guilt. When you abstain from it, you free yourself from these negative emotions and maintain your inner tranquility. Now, you might be thinking this all sounds great in theory. But how do I actually put it into practice? The key is mindfulness, of being aware of your thoughts and emotions in the moment. It's about developing the habit of pausing before you speak, especially in emotionally charged situations. Start small. The next time you feel anger rising, take a deep breath and count to 10 before you respond. When you're in a conversation and realize you don't have all the facts, practice saying, "I don't know enough about that," to comment. When you're tempted to prove you're right, ask yourself if it's really necessary in this instance. Remember, choosing silence doesn't mean being passive or letting others walk all over you. It's about being strategic with your words, using them when they truly matter and refraining when they might cause harm or add unnecessary noise to a situation. As you practice these habits of silence, you'll start to notice changes in your life. You'll find that your relationships improve as people come to see you as someone thoughtful and trustworthy. You'll make better decisions because you're giving yourself time to think and gather information before speaking. You'll feel more at peace with yourself, free from the anxiety that often comes with impulsive speech. But perhaps most importantly, you'll discover a new kind of strength within yourself. The strength that comes from knowing you have the power to control your reactions, to choose your words carefully, to rise above the petty conflicts and dramas that consume so many people. This strength is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Each time you choose silence in one of these 5 situations, you're building that muscle. You're reinforcing neural pathways in your brain that make it easier to make the same choice next time. And here's the beautiful thing. This strength doesn't just apply to these 5 situations. As you develop this skill, you'll find it spilling over into other areas of your life. You'll become more patient, more understanding, more in control of your emotions and reactions and all kinds of situations. Now, I want to be clear. Choosing silence doesn't mean becoming a doormat or never speaking up for yourself. There are absolutely times when it's important to use your voice, to stand up for what's right, to express your needs and desires. The key is discernment, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Think of it like a game of chess. Every word you speak is like moving a piece on the board. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to hold back, to wait, to let the situation develop before you act. Your silence becomes a strategic tool, allowing you to observe, to gather information, to let others reveal their intentions before you show your hand. As you go through your day, I want you to start paying attention to these 5 situations. Notice when anger rises within you, when you're tempted to speak without having all the facts, when you have the opportunity to prove you're right, when you're faced with failure or disappointment, and when gossip is swirling around you. In these moments, pause, take a breath. Remember the power of silence. It might feel uncomfortable at first. We're so conditioned to fill every silence, to always have something to say. But push through that discomfort. Embrace the silence. Let it be your teacher, your protector, your source of strength. And as you do this, I want you to observe the reactions of others. Notice how people respond when you don't rise to the bait of an argument, when you listen more than you speak, when you refrain from making excuses or participating in gossip. You'll likely find that people start to view you differently, with more respect, more trust, more admiration, but even more importantly, pay attention to how you feel. Notice the sense of calm that comes from not having to defend yourself constantly. Feel the freedom that comes from not being caught up in every drama or conflict. experience the confidence that grows as you master your reactions and choose your words with care. This journey of embracing silence is not always easy. There will be times when you slip up, when emotions get the better of you and words come tumbling out before you can stop them. That's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Remember that this is a practice, a lifelong journey of growth and self-improvement. When you do slip up, use it as a learning opportunity. Reflect on what triggered your reaction. Think about how you could have handled the situation differently. Then, commit to doing better next time. Each mistake is a stepping stone on your path to mastery. As you continue on this journey, you'll start to notice something remarkable. The quality of your life will begin to improve in ways both big and small. Your relationships will deepen as people come to see you as someone they can trust and confide in. Your decision-making will improve as you give yourself time to think, consider before acting. You'll find yourself less stressed, less caught up in the petty dramas and conflicts that consume so many people's energy. Instead, you'll have more mental and emotional space to focus on what truly matters to you, your goals, your passions, your personal growth. And perhaps most importantly, you'll develop a deep sense of inner peace and confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you're in control of your reactions, that you can handle whatever life throws at you with grace and wisdom. This inner strength, this mastery of silence, becomes a foundation upon which you can build an extraordinary life. It allows you to navigate the complexities of the modern world with poise and purpose. It gives you the clarity to see opportunities where others see only obstacles, to find solutions where others see only problems. As you move forward from this moment, I challenge you to become a master of silence, to be the calm in the storm, the voice of reason in chaos, the steady hand in times of turmoil, to use your words sparingly and powerfully, making each one count. Remember, true strength isn't about dominating others with your words or actions. It's about having the self-control and wisdom to choose when to speak and when to remain silent. It's about being secure enough in yourself that you don't need to prove yourself at every turn. So go forth, armed with this new understanding of the power of silence. Embrace it in those 5 crucial situations. When you're angry, when you don't have all the facts, when you're right, when you're tempted to make excuses, and when gossip is in the air. Let your silence speak volumes about your character, your wisdom, and your strength. And as you do, watch in amazement as your life transforms. As you become the kind of person others look to for guidance and support. As you achieve goals you once thought impossible. As you create a life of purpose, meaning, and deep fulfillment. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And in this case, that step is a moment of silence, so take that step. Embrace the power of silence, and watch as it unlocks doors you never even knew existed, leading you to a future brighter and more extraordinary than you ever dared to imagine. The choice is yours. The power is within you. Will you have the courage to embrace silence, to master your reactions, to become the best version of yourself? I believe you do. Now go out there and prove me right. Your extraordinary future is waiting. Your journey toward mastering silence begins now. With each passing moment, you have the opportunity to practice this powerful skill. It's not about perfection. Every time you choose silence over impulsive speech, you're taking a step toward becoming the person you aspire to be. Consider the great leaders and thinkers throughout history. Many of them were known not just for their words, but for their ability to listen, to observe, to remain calm in the face of chaos. They understood the power of silence, and they wielded it like a finely honed instrument. You have that same power within you. It's not something you need to acquire. It's already there, waiting to be awakened. All you need to do is make the conscious choice to tap into it, to nurture it, to let it grow. As you embark on this journey, you might face resistance, both from within yourself and from others. Our society often equates silence with weakness, with a lack of confidence or conviction. But you know better. You understand that true strength lies not in constant chatter, but in the ability to choose your words carefully and use them wisely. There may be times when others try to bait you into arguments, when they mistake your silence for agreement or submission. Let them. Your silence is not about them. It's about maintaining your inner peace, about staying true to your principles, about rising above the petty conflicts that consume so much of people's energy. Remember, silence is not the same as inaction. While you're silent, your mind is working, processing, strategizing. You're gathering information, weighing options, considering consequences. This mental work is invaluable, and it's something that many people miss out on because they're too busy talking. As you practice silence in these 5 key situations, you'll start to notice subtle changes in your life. You might find that your relationships become deeper, more meaningful. People may start to seek out your advice more often, valuing your thoughtful, measured responses. You might discover that you're making better decisions, both in your personal and professional life. But perhaps the most profound change will be in how you feel about yourself. There's a unique kind of confidence that comes from knowing you're in control of your words and actions. It's a quiet strength and inner certainty that radiates outward and influences everything you do. This newfound strength will serve you well in all areas of your life. In your career, you'll stand out as someone who speaks with purpose and listens with intention. In your personal relationships, you will be the rock that others lean on, the voice of reason in times of conflict. In your own personal growth, you'll find that you're more focused, more intentional about your goals and aspirations. As you continue to practice silence, you'll also develop a heightened awareness of the world around you. You'll start to pick up on subtleties that you might have missed before. The unspoken dynamics in a room, the hidden meanings behind people's words and actions. This awareness is a powerful tool giving you insights that can help you navigate complex situations with grace and wisdom. But let's be clear, embracing silence doesn't mean becoming passive or disconnected. On the contrary, it means becoming more fully engaged with life, more present in each moment. When you're not constantly focused on what you're going to say next, you're free to truly experience what's happening around you. This presence, this engagement with life, is what so many people are searching for. In a world full of distractions, where everyone seems to be talking but few are really listening, your ability to be fully present will set you apart. It will make you a better friend, a better leader, a better partner. As you move forward, I want you to think of silence as a superpower. Like any superpower, it needs to be used wisely and with purpose. There will be times when speaking up is absolutely necessary. When you need to stand up for yourself or others, when you need to share important information, when your voice can make a positive difference. The key is discernment. As you practice silence, you'll develop a finely tuned sense of when to speak and when to remain quiet. You'll learn to trust your instincts, to feel in your gut when it's time to break your silence and when it's better to hold back. This discernment is a skill that will serve you well in all areas of your life. It will help you navigate complex social situations, make better decisions in your career, and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. It's the mark of true emotional intelligence, the ability to read a situation accurately and respond appropriately. As you continue on this journey, I want you to pay attention to the moments when silence feels most challenging. These are your growth opportunities. Maybe it's when someone criticizes you unfairly and you feel the urge to defend yourself. Maybe it's when you hear a juicy piece of gossip that you're dying to share. Maybe it's when you're in a heated argument and you just know you're right. In these moments, pause, take a deep breath. Remember the power of silence, then make a conscious choice about how you want to respond. Even if you do end up speaking, that moment of pause can make all the difference, allowing you to choose your words more carefully and respond more effectively. And here's something important to remember. Choosing silence doesn't mean suppressing your thoughts and feelings. It's not about bottling things up or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Instead, it's about finding more constructive ways to process and express your emotions. Maybe instead of lashing out in anger, you take some time to cool down and then have a calm, reasoned discussion. Maybe instead of making excuses for a mistake, you take some time to reflect on what went wrong and how you can do better next time. Maybe instead of gossiping about someone, you find a way to address the issue directly with the person involved. This approach to handling emotions and conflicts is far more effective in the long run. It allows you to maintain your integrity, preserve your relationships, and actually resolve issues rather than just venting about them. As you master the art of silence, you'll find that your words carry more weight when you do choose to speak. People will listen more attentively, knowing that when you have something to say, it's worth hearing. Your opinions will be more valued, your advice more sought after. This is the true power of silence. Not just in what it prevents unnecessary conflicts, damaged relationships, regrettable words, but in what it creates. It creates space for deeper understanding, for more meaningful connections, for personal growth and self. Imagine a life where you're no longer at the mercy of your immediate reactions, where you have the power to choose your response in any situation, where you're known for your wisdom, your thoughtfulness, your ability to remain calm under pressure. that life is within your reach. It starts with silence. So I challenge you from this moment forward to become a student of silence, to watch for those 5 key situations: anger, lack of information, being right, the temptation to make excuses, and the pull of gossip. When you encounter them, choose silence, even if it's just for a moment longer than you normally would. Start small. Maybe today, when you feel that flash of anger, you'll count to 10 before responding. Maybe tomorrow, when you hear some juicy gossip, you'll choose not to pass it on. Maybe next week, when you make a mistake at work, you'll resist the urge to make excuses and instead take responsibility. Each of these small choices adds up. They're like deposits in a bank account, slowly but surely, building up your reserves of self-control, wisdom, and inner peace. And like compound interest, the benefits will grow exponentially over time. As you practice, be patient with yourself. Remember, this is a lifelong journey. There will be setbacks, moments when you slip up and say something you regret. That's okay. It's part of the learning process. When it happens, don't beat yourself up. Instead, reflect on what triggered your reaction and how you might handle it differently next time. And celebrate your successes, no matter how small they might seem. Every time you choose silence over impulsive speech, you're rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that make it easier to make the same choice next time. You're literally reshaping your mind, becoming a calmer, wiser, more intentional version of yourself. As you continue on this path, you'll start to notice changes not just in yourself, but in the world around you. You might find that your home becomes a more peaceful place, with fewer arguments and more meaningful conversations. Your workplace might become more productive, with less time wasted on pointless conflicts and more focus on what really matters. You might even start to influence others without saying a word. Your calm presence, your thoughtful responses, your ability to listen deeply, these qualities are contagious. People will be drawn to your energy, curious about your secret. Without even trying, you'll become a role model for a different way of being in the world. And here's something truly exciting to consider. As more and more people embrace the power of silence, we have the potential to create real change in our society. Imagine a world where people think before they speak, where conflicts are resolved through understanding rather than shouting matches, where wisdom is valued over quick comebacks. That world begins with you. With your choice in this moment and the next to embrace silence, to be the calm in the storm, the voice of reason in the chaos, to show by example that there's strength in stillness, power in pause. So I ask you again, will you accept this challenge? Will you commit to mastering the art of silence? Will you be the change you wish to see in the world? The choice is yours. The power is within you, your extraordinary future, and the extraordinary future of those around you is waiting. Embrace silence and watch as it transforms not just your life, but the world around you. Remember, in the quiet moments, in the pauses between words, in the silences you choose, that's where true wisdom is born. That's where transformation begins. That's where your greatest power lies. Now go forth, armed with this knowledge, and create the life you've always dreamed of. A life of purpose, of wisdom, of deep and meaningful connections. A life where your words, when you choose to use them, have the power to move mountains. Your journey starts now in this moment of silence. Embrace it, trust it, let it guide you toward the extraordinary future that awaits. The world is waiting for the unique gifts that only you can bring. And with the power of silence as your ally, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Your time is now, your power is silence, your future is extraordinary. Go make it happen.